What is going on, YouTube family? It is the Washingtons bringing you guys the last video of 2017, and we noticed that all the videos that we've done have been awesome. I mean, I guess you guys think that they're awesome, but one thing that we haven't focused on is the
maybe
singles.
Not awesome.
Yeah, maybe not. But one thing that we haven't focused on is the singles at all. I think that's a huge thing for us to talk about, especially with us being in that transition of being newlyweds a couple of months in and just coming from that single life. I think more newlyweds should talk to the singles about what to expect and what they should be practicing right now in this moment in time. So let's do it. So what we want to bring to you guys today, the singles, is that we don't want to tell you, just like everyone else, to prepare in your singleness and leave it just like that. Everyone always does that, but they don't really give you guys the learn from our mistakes type of side thing, or maybe exactly what you should be doing in your singleness to prepare for marriage. Maybe if you're not even looking for marriage at this moment in time, you should still be in preparation for it, for whenever God presents that person. Here's your clip.
One of the first things that we want to talk about is being submissive. And obviously, we all know that's a huge part in marriage. That's something that I'm still learning, but it's super important in singleness too. So obviously that's Christ first, be submissive to Christ, obedient to his word, growing in him, and then be submissive to a male role model. Generally that's your father figure or your father, but not all of us have a father. So that might be your pastor or your uncle or your grandfather. So just to practice submissiveness to them. Yeah,
no, for sure. And one thing that you have to understand is that on the male side, and I will tell males, and one thing that was told to me is never, if a woman can't be submissive to the male role model in her life, then she's no good. She's no good. Don't marry her. Don't even talk to her. Run. That was the one thing that was told to me, and that's one thing that I'm telling to the young Christian males out there as well. If you can see her relationship with the men that are closer to her in her life, and she can't listen, she's rebelling. Don't pursue that girl. Don't pursue that girl, because she's only going to give you problems when it's time for marriage. Okay, so that is one way, like Chelsea said, that the girls can work on being submissive, is that male role model in her life, a godly man, and just doing little things. It doesn't have to be on a broad spectrum, and I think we get submissiveness wrong. But I mean, for the girls, just be able to take notes, to listen, gain reassurance from that male role model, and prepare for marriage. So the next thing that we're going to bring about is contentment. This is a funny thing, and it's hard to look at, especially when you've been waiting so long for that special someone, and you've been thinking about it, and you're just like, why God, why not me? I see all these people getting engaged, I see all these people getting married, they're having babies, and I want that for my life. Truly, you have to fall in love with the process, okay? And that's something that I told Chelsea all the time while we were dating, as far as just the way that God was progressing us. You have to be able to fall in love with the process, because what you do during that time leading up to it and what God does for you, building you up, is far more important than the title of being married or even being engaged, okay? Because what you do during that title will all be determined by what you did during that process, okay? So learn how to fall in love with the process. And when I say fall in love with the process, things that I did during my college days was I had tons of mentors. Right, I read a lot of books. I was listening to a lot of sermons. I was growing. I was understanding what it meant to be a husband, to be a man of God, to be a leader, leading courageously, accepting responsibility. I learned the role of a woman. I was also studying books on women and the psychology behind the way that they think and the things that women need. I was working on that type of stuff. And not everyone does that, but you guys have the option to. We're giving you guys the knowledge and the little nuggets now. What do you think about it, babe?
No, that's good. It's important to study the opposite sex, and that role that they're going to play in your life, so you know what to look for when that man does come along. One key thing is that I would throw out there is, because I've been in this place too, but don't just fall in love with anyone that gives you attention. Really be close with God, be in the Word, be in prayer, and just listen for him and his voice and what he tells you about
But
that.
you can protect yourself through that, right? If you're growing in those things and you're understanding what that man is supposed to look like in your life, right? So you know when he doesn't look like it, then it's not for you. But you got to be rooted in Christ, right?
Right.
What else? Anything else? No? Guess we're moving on. The idea of true love. And one thing that I will let you know is that it's easy to fall into love, but it's a lot harder to stay in love. What do you think about that, babe?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of times where I thought that I myself was in love, but it wasn't true love. It was infatuation. I was in love with the idea of having a significant other or somebody there to give me the attention. But now that I'm married and growing in love every day, I know what it truly looks like, and it's a lot of work. It's definitely challenging, but...
Yeah. And one thing, I actually had a post on my Instagram a while ago, and it was basically saying, if you live by your feelings, then the devil will feed you whatever you feel. So if you're not growing in Christ right now, and you're not getting in a healthy example from the word and from other godly men around you of what that's supposed to look like, and vice versa for the men, if you're not getting a representation of what a godly woman is supposed to look like through your word, through Proverbs 31, through the other women in the Bible, and doing your studies, then infatuation is going to be very easy for you because you're just falling in love with the idea. But the thing is that idea doesn't line up with what God actually has for you in the future, because you don't know what that looks like. The reason why we call it infatuation and we're not calling it love is because in this certain point in time, I don't think you really know what love is, and you've never really gone through it, and you're not learning about it, so you can't really call it love. But if you're growing in it and you're understanding it and you're reading 1 Corinthians 13:4 and you're really going through it, then we can talk. But other than that, I would say that it's infatuation. I'm growing in love today with Chelsea.
And like truly study love too, what it means. You know, break down the words in 1 Corinthians. Love is patient, it's kind, it doesn't envy, it doesn't boast. It's not proud. Love is definitely an action. It's not a feeling. You know, our feelings are very deceptive. So don't go based off of like here sometimes, but what your mind knows and what you studied and the knowledge that you've gained by being in the Word.
I like that. She's about that action, boss.
Another thing we want to touch on is selflessness and what that looks like in your singleness, and through the transition of marriage, but more importantly, what that looks like as you're single. Okay?
Yeah, so basically selflessness is huge. It is going to be majority of your relationship as you move into maybe the proposal stage or the marriage stage, whatever you do. Selflessness is going to start to take a huge toll and role in your relationship as you guys move on. It's a big product of love. Selflessness is love. It's not about you. And we see that on a day-to-day basis as God tells us to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. That's a form of selflessness, and to think of others higher than we do us. That's huge. He's showing us, he's projecting selflessness not just in relationships, but in our day-to-day life with other people. So that's one way right there to practice it is that you can practice selflessness with practically anyone. But as you do it in your singleness, one thing that we truly want to look at is think about you having a spouse in the future. How does your finances look? Don't spend money like a bachelor right now. Save money as if you had a family. How many kids do you want? What type of things do you want to do with your wife? Think about those things now and put them into action right now. Start saving as if you had a family so you're prepared for it. You know how many people wish they would have done that? I wish I would have done more of that. Obviously, life happens. But the thing is that be as prepared as you possibly can. Women, start thinking about the way that you spend money and creating savings, right? Being able to be a penny pincher, finding deals, being creative.
Coupon early.
Yeah, start practicing those things now in your singleness so that they're not foreign when you come into a marriage, right?
Well, because as women, we're called to be helpers. So that's one way that we can help our future husbands and, playing our role in the marriage.
Yeah, so be selfless. Hot topic, modesty. Yes, oh yes, modesty. And I want to talk about the mindset of men. Men are physical creatures. God has made us physical for a reason. But one thing that I will say is that men have a certain mindset and they have a certain viewpoint on women based off of things like clothing and the way that you carry yourself. Even good men, if they see a woman that's a little loose, he's gonna have a lot less respect for her. And if he's down in the dumps at that time, or maybe he's trying to fill a void, or maybe he's lost something big in his life and he's going through emotional realm, just know that you will be a target for him. He might not see you as an end goal, but he sees you as a now goal. How do you feel about that?
Stumbling block.
Yeah, stumbling block. But go ahead.
My encouragement to you is think about what kind of man you want to attract, or women. Woman, yeah. Single, let's make that single. And are you being that type of person that will attract them? Are you being modest, or are you being immodest? Mm-hmm. And there's different types of men you'll attract. So, choice is yours, really. If you want a man that will respect you, or somebody that's kind of maybe, like you said, down in the dumps, struggling, and just, you might be his now. And that's why it's not working out, because you're getting a lot of now guys.
Yeah, exactly. And just know that the way that you hold yourself, the way that you dress is an outward, it's an outward self-confidence, you know what I mean? So if you still are struggling with self-esteem and things like that, just know your dress can actually mask a lot of that, and it will project confidence to that male, and to good men. And they can actually help build you up in Christ. But that is your confidence. That's your number one confidence. Before you even open up your mouth, the way that you dress will be your number one confidence, and it will determine how much respect that man's gonna have for you.
Yeah.
Truly.
But modesty, it brings forth so much confidence, and that's so attractive.
It's really attractive. The thing is that men will react to the woman that is revealing because they're physical and sometimes they don't think with the right head, right? You catch that? And they might initially be like, ooh, oh, like she looks good. But he's not thinking about you as a person and respectful and saying, look how beautiful she is. He's looking to dominate you in a sexual manner. There's two different sides of that. He's not actually respecting you. He's not looking at your true beauty. He's looking at you like you are something to, yes, he's just looking at you as an ornament. He's not looking at you as an actual person. Yeah. Right? You're a trophy to him. That makes sense?
Yeah.
We're good? All right. And last but not least, the way that God is going to present the person to you, do not come up with your own idea of how God is going to present that person to you, or what pursuing actually looks like, because I got shot right in the face with my idea of what that actually looks like. Because the woman that is sitting next to me, my wife, Mrs. Washington now, I actually turned her away because the way that I thought pursuing was supposed to look like is not the way that we came about. So just know your way is not always God's way. What do you feel about that?
I mean, I just feel that God has a special love story for everyone, you know, mm-hmm. and it's not going to be exactly like another individual's or a couple. It's going to be your own special story to tell. And that includes, like he said, it could be the woman initially reaching out. It might not be, it might be the man, but just know if a woman does reach out, it is the man's job to pursue that relationship. So
exactly. So don't be scared to make it known that you're interested, but you shouldn't be pursuing him. He should be leading. We also hope you guys enjoyed this video today. We enjoyed bringing it to you. We had so much fun talking to the singles. I hope you guys learned something. Check all the other social media in the link in the description box below. Continue to follow us, like, share, and subscribe. And I think that's all we have. You have anything else to say, babe?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
2018, write the goal list. Let's
some real goals, guys, like about your character and growing in your singleness, things like that, okay? Not just how much money you want to make, but actually developing as a person. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right, later.